Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where today you join me to visit the Auto Vivendi Clubhouse here in London. And how cool is this? We are surrounded by their collection of cars featuring McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins, Porsches, Rolls-Royce and plenty more. But today we're going to be taking a look at this, the new McLaren GT. The first time for me actually experiencing this new car, McLaren's Grand Tourer. And I think this is one of the first, if not the very first, one of these to be delivered. We'll take a quick look around. Down at the end, there are some incredibly special cars to explore. We will meet up with Craig from Auto Vivendi, and we're going to be taking out the McLaren GT to see what it's about. This is a really cool display, the way the cars are here inside the showroom, and then check this out, alongside you've got the sitting areas, the lounge areas. This is my kind of dream for a unit, being able to look out over the brightly coloured skittles that make up the Auto Vivendi collection outside here all lined up together. Now I've been friends with the guys from Auto Vivendi pretty much since I started my YouTube channel almost a decade ago, and also with Craig, who founded the VMAX 200 events, where in the past you might have seen some of the drag race runway videos we've shot. Well, Auto Vivendi acquired VMAX, they run events together, and they also have this amazing array of cars for their members. Now, of all of the cars in here, just to take you on a very quick tour, we've got the Rolls-Royce Wraith, the McLaren 720S, Aston Martin DBS, Porsche 911 GT3 RS, Lamborghini Performante Spider, Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, McLaren 600 LT Spider, Ferrari 488 GTB. Then we've got some big ones down at this end. Under the cover here, and we will reveal that shortly, is a very nice Aston Martin Vanquish Zagato Shooting Brake. Alongside, we have the McLaren Senna, and then up this side, the Lamborghini Aventador S Roadster, and also an Aston Martin DBS. Now, this is not even all of the cars, but the way they are presented here, with some of the artworks on the walls, very, very cool. But today, we have come to see the McLaren GT. Now, the reason I have picked out the GT is that before now, I have actually been lucky enough to drive one of everything else. I've experienced all of the other cars, but I wasn't able to make the launch event for this. So today, I wanted to get a feel for the new McLaren GT. We're going to be joined by Craig to take it out for a drive, but let me first give a bit of an introduction to the car and where exactly it sits. So McLaren launched the new GT as a separation from the previous generation. Of course, with the Sports Series, like we have the 600 LT down there, they introduced the 570S and the 570 GT. They were based on the same car overall, but going forwards, we now have the GT as its own line completely, and there will be a new Sports Series in future, which is something completely separate. This car, though, is basically McLaren's softest and most luxurious car to date, to compete with the likes of the Aston Martin DB11, the Porsche 911 Turbo S, the Bentley Continental GT, those kind of cars that you can use as kind of daily supercars. So the big thing about this is that it's got a lot of luggage space sitting above the mid-engine. Now, it still has the engine back there, and in fact, a derivative of the engine found in the 720S, a detuned version in effect. It has 620 horsepower, 630 newton meters. It's a 4-litre twin-turbo V8. The car still shares that familiar carbon fibre tub, but it actually has the biggest wheels ever on a McLaren. It also has a valve-controlled exhaust system for the first time on a McLaren, and also uses the nicest leathers on the inside, giving a bit of a sense of what this is about. So let's just have a quick look inside here, actually. Doors open as a supercar should, dihedral doors, but with a low side sill to make getting in and out okay. It's got a completely reworked infotainment system. You can see the aluminium touches around the steering wheel, new dashboard display and software, new materials, bridge of wear leather, for example, used on the seats. This in quite a sporty configuration. Things like ambient lighting that you have around. You can see the GT logo down there in the central console as well. Let me just come to the back. Of course, the big talking point was about the luggage space that you have back here. So with the key, we have the button, which I think is going to open the front at the moment. Yeah, that's opened at the front. Let me come all the way around. Of course, like other supercars, up front you do have about 150 litres or so of space in there, should you wish. We can just close this back down, give it a press to latch it into place. And inside here, we have a button just to open up the rear compartment, just down here, where we can come around. Everything's very soft. You can hear from the noises. All very gentle, all very comfortable. Soft close on the doors. You can tell how this car was designed, and it's quite a different look at the front as well, with the headlights still very distinctly McLaren, but different overall. Now, back here is what they were all talking about. The ability to fit in some sets of golf clubs. Now, this is quite an unusual shape. As you can see over the hump here, and obviously there's an engine underneath, don't forget that. It's quite an awkward shape, and to get luggage up there, well, that's miles away. To actually reach that far in, yeah, not the easiest thing to do in the world. Probably easier to put things in from the other side. So I'm slightly confused about this. I find it a little bit awkward and difficult, although I do like, when it is closed back down, the look of this car at the back. And it's actually, I think, probably the loudest McLaren. It does sound pretty good. So let's catch up with Craig then, have a quick chat, and then we'll get this outside and go see what it's like to actually go out and drive in and see what it's like out there.
Hi Tim, how are you?
Very good, good to see you.
Likewise.
Congratulations on the new edition.
Thank you, yes, we're happy to receive this one. It's probably our 20th or 21st car this year, so
wow.
Busy.
Growing the collection and gallery almost of the cars in here very, very fast. And I'd said before that I think we're going to have to go pull back the cover on the...
Yeah, sure.
If that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give everyone a sneak peek. But I think for those watching, we've actually known each other for, what, a decade or so now?
Yeah, it probably is, yeah.
Crazy how time flies. And look at that. That is stunning. Lava red?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is really, really nice. Just lift that off carefully. Carbon roof. I love this car.
Yeah, we're
massive
pleased
soft
with this
spot
one.
for it.
It's a beautiful piece to sit in the corner.
Looking very, very pretty. Opposite something not so pretty. But you guys have taken this out, right?
Yeah, this comes with us on our Ascari adventure. So we go down to Ascari in Spain, and members and guests and people who come on our events come and drive it on the track, which is I mean, it's...
Did you drive it?
I tell you, I have driven it, yeah.
Good.
As you well know, it's unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Different league of performance. So from one McLaren to another,
yes.
I have the key, which you kindly lent me earlier. Can we go take this out then? And,
absolutely.
Go for a little drive. I might take a listen to the startup first, if you don't mind.
Sure, no
if I
problem.
can give you the key and we can take a quick listen. It's a very smart spec you have for the car.
Yeah, it's got the sports exhaust as well, so it makes slightly different sound when you put it into sport.
Ah, even better. Okay. I like the contrast of the silver paint with the black. Okay, that is quite a different tone to other McLarens. Yeah, interesting. Just open this up quickly. I was just saying, it's quite interesting how you notice that's quite a different tone to other McLarens.
It is. Yeah.
It sounds...
It's a little bit more subdued, although you can hear it pick up as you start to drive it more.
Okay, well I think we need to do a bit of car shuffling, and then we'll pull this out.
Fantastic.
It has to be said, Richard from Auto Vivendi and Craig have set up a very nice venue here. I need to get out of the way so that I don't get run over. In fact, I'm going to come all the way around the back, maybe hop on board now then, sit alongside so that we can take this out. Oh, nearly missed the door handle there. Got to get used to the slightly different door handles on this car. But step inside, we've got our lovely ambient lighting, the McLaren logo on the dash. Okay, my first time in the McLaren GT. You're kind of doing the run-in mileage, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always take the cars a little way ourselves before the members take them out. Just to, you get the odd little thing that you need to look at, but they're generally pretty good. But
this is actually really interesting for me because it's new display. It's completely new. And
yeah, it's completely changed. It took us a while to get used to it as well, actually.
You've driven all of the McLarens, like for example your 720 there, the purple one. All the different cars in the range, but this is, I guess, McLaren saying we're going to do things completely differently, all designed from the ground up.
It does feel very different, and it's probably the first McLaren, actually. I'm using the paddles right now, but it's probably the first McLaren I've driven that I would just stick in auto and just put around in. Yeah, it feels a little bit more, it's not as aggressive on the upshifts and things like that if you don't want it to be.
I guess one of the theories, obviously Grand Touring is one of them, but this almost daily driver style, just cruising with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does feel like it's a nice day-to-day car.
Yeah.
I've commuted in it a couple of days just because it's a good chance to really get used to everything, get used to the controls and all the different settings and things. And it's it's a very nice day-to-day thing to drive. Yeah,
lots and lots of glass, massive glass roof panel.
Yeah, you particularly notice that at night, and obviously it's with any Christmas lighting that's around at the moment, it's particularly sparkly as you drive around London.
So the interesting thing for me is, even with these fairly big bumps we're going over, you're not using a lift system.
I've just put it up actually,
Okay,
but only just. But actually, there's enough clearance at the front. You probably don't need to.
Yeah.
But I do, just as a matter of prudence.
Fair enough. And then obviously we've got gigantic amounts of storage back there. I've just spotted the McLaren logo on the back. That is a gigantic kind of amount of space. Yeah. You even have those extra small buttress windows. Ooh.
Yes, and obviously the huge boot in the front that you always get, not dissimilar to a 720 there, it's perhaps a little bit bigger. But no, it's very compliant around town, as you can see.
Yeah, the suspension doesn't quite have that same, I think, how did you describe it, clumpiness that you would have in a more hardcore supercar. I mean, this is still a supercar, let's be real. It's over 600 horsepower with an engine back behind us.
Totally.
And shift paddles on the wheel. It's a GT by name, but it's effectively, I think, a soft supercar, a daily driver supercar.
Totally, I've got it in sport rather than comfort, which obviously,
okay.
So I normally tend to drive them in sport.
Yeah.
It keeps a little bit stiffer on the speed bumps and things like that, so. But you're the first passenger, actually. You're the first person to sit
in this seat.
Yes.
I feel privileged. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Got all sorts of settings and things to play with.
Yeah, feel free to have a play.
Ambience, this is where I guess you change. Yeah, the lighting colours.
Yeah, so it's the strips around the doors, which you don't really notice so much in the day.
I can just about see them, the lights that run around.
And along here as well.
So just to demo this, let's pop it red. See that going red? You can see the red lighting now up there. Just change that quickly, go through a few different colours. Blue. Those fun kind of, I guess, more real-world comforts that they've now installed. See,
yeah, and they also extend down. If you look down around your feet, there's the light.
Oh yeah, I see that.
To the footwell as well.
The illumination down there. Just comfort-orientated features, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a nice place to be, isn't it?
Now we're going through a tunnel, but we're in central London, and this isn't really a tunnel-going car, I would say, out of every car that we could be in.
No, exactly. It's a little bit more
civilised.
If you can call a McLaren supercar sedate, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is the first overriding sensation is that it is comfortable. I mean, you do get where they're going with this. The seats, as you were just saying, have these slightly funny controls that it's a little bit awkward to work out which button down here does what. Not the easiest thing in the world. But overall, it's the same steering wheel as we see in many of the models. Aluminium inserts are nice. The aluminium shift paddles are nice as well.
Yeah.
And then a totally new look of the display. Does this change? Does it go into a different mode when you? Can I switch?
Yeah, go
into
for it.
track
If
mode?
you put it into track,
Turn
you'll
this
see
into
it.
track quickly. You'll see that display. Yeah, back to a kind of horizontal style. Rev counter running across the top, but it still gives you a lot of information: tire temps, details. Yeah, all the bits and pieces that you want in these kind of cars. And then this, one of the big things I remember was that this is just runs much quicker than other ones. The original McLarens were always a little bit slow and took a while to fiddle with. And yeah, this is surprisingly decent actually. So you're in central
I think
London.
the software's had another update as well. I've noticed just little things. As you say, it's just a bit more intuitive and a bit quicker.
Yeah. Check this out then, with the sun visors. If you pull down the sun visor, you have a secondary visor bit, which is actually the mirror. That is separate from the main sun visor. Obviously, if you close the sun visor, they will both close together, but I've never seen that. That's the kind of thing they did with this, just new ideas, new styles, but still with gigantic vents that you can see at the side for engine cooling, and you can see the one just over the top on the back of the deck lid as well. A little bit of sound out of it. It is much more docile, but still, I guess, a similar sound, a similar kind of noise, familiarity to it.
Yeah, it does have that sort of same McLaren bark. They always remind me of the modern F1 cars, the noise as you go up through the gears.
Yes, yeah, the way they kind of pop into the next gear.
Yeah.
With a little bit of a kind of muted sound to the natural engine note, but that's the turbo generation, and that's, to be honest, what makes these so fantastically fast as well. They are very, very, very
they're
quick.
just ballistic things.
Now, even this does, I think, the 0 to 200 kilometers an hour, 124 mile per hour sprint in under 9 seconds or something, which is
nuts, isn't it?
It's silly fast. We don't count 0 to 100s or 62 miles an hour because traction. Rear-wheel drive still. It's not an all-wheel drive car. But overall, to be honest, inside it's a very nice place to be. I don't think you can't call it into question for that. It's all around very, very good inside here. We've got that good old winter problem. Slightly wet tarmac, slippy, greasy, gotta be careful. But I mean, as you say, it sounds like normal McLaren kind of sounds, just a little bit. And I'd say it's a little bit quieter, even though on the outside it's actually a bit louder than other McLarens.
Yeah, it's reasonably gentle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you drop it, into comfort, take the active off, and it's just happily pootle along at 37 miles an hour on the A40. It's nice.
Softest suspension modes, gentle cruise. It's actually quite a nice day for winter.
Lovely.
Perfect day actually to enjoy the view out of the roof. Which is what this car is for. I mean, a lot of these cars, GT customers will use them obviously for long distance driving, but I think mostly just daily use. I think this is probably a very real world use case for this car. To drive in normal environments, chilling, not kind of a massively enthusiastic drive, but we're in the centre of town, can't exactly do that. Overall, yeah, I've got a decent amount of storage space. Is that like a phone storage? Oh wow. That is actually what that's for.
I've learned something new as well then.
Yeah, that was just trial and error. That is the phone slot. That's new. What else do we have? A little bit of armrest storage. That pops open.
USB ports in the back. I'm actually amazed by that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's innovative. Reversing back to the gates, we've got a nice rear view camera on the display. Better resolution and clearer than on my McLarens, I can say that for sure. And then obviously the visual representation as well. But all in all, decent visibility backwards.
Yeah, okay. Great. See everything. Yeah, it's good.
Usable car then. I think that box is ticked very well by this. Obviously we've got our door handles just here. You kind of pull it and wait a moment and then it releases. But being these dihedral doors, they don't actually use as much width as you think they do. So how about we'll get the car pulled back inside just for a moment. Yeah, looking quite cool actually. Let me come around to the front with the doors up. Pivot itself up so you can see how that looks. Very cool. Get the car brought back in then. I do like this design at the rear, the way it kind of cuts in and out again underneath. That integrated almost lip spoiler that you have at the back, and the design of the tail lights with the clear strips. They're actually a really cool piece of design. But this will be squeezed in, where just to come in quickly to show you, that 720S we saw outside earlier is now parked inside. It is very colourful inside here, and of course I haven't mentioned it, but the graffiti artwork's on the wall at the end. Quite unusual, but also quite unique, and I like that. This is a really, really nice setup and cage to store the cars. So tight squeeze there. And yeah, I mean, what a choice and selection of cars as well. Here is part of this collection. And now, no pressure to Craig with my camera rolling to have to park up the McLaren GT. It's a little bit longer than previous McLarens, and you see that in the kind of back half of the car. And obviously, like I mentioned, wheels larger than others as well, just sitting, I think, on wheels that are an inch bigger front and rear than ever before. 21s at the rear, 20 at the front instead of 19s and 20, like on the 720S. But I'm a bit confused, you know, how this sits in a world where you have the already very luxurious, very, very soft riding, Grand Touring-esque supercar, where a used 720S is, well, at the moment, less actually than a new McLaren GT. And that's where I think they kind of almost trump themselves with their own cars. These are fighting on a very similar market segment. And that is, well, that's proper supercar, 720 horsepower to the 620 of this, but based around a very, very, very similar thing. Awesome. Nicely done. The pressure was on with the camera rolling. You managed it perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Oh yes, I was going to say about the rear design, and also Craig pointed out that this is almost a little bit Speedtail-esque in its design. I'm going to try and just squeeze through here just to show you very quickly. But the tail lights at the back here, you've got these clear strips. You can kind of see straight through it, which obviously have illumination on the inside of them. Really nice bit of design that it's got going on. So all in all, a very cool experience. Thanks for that, Craig. Appreciate the run out.
Nice to see you.
Likewise. And yeah, good fun. Good to experience what the GT is like out on the roads.
We've just discovered something that I can't really believe we didn't find earlier to do with the key. Now, I was trying to work out how you open either the front or the back, and it turns out that the button at the bottom is actually two buttons. If you press towards the rear, that will open the hatch at the back. If you press towards the front, that will open the storage at the very front of the car. Nice and simple, just like that, and I can't believe that I didn't work that out earlier. Just come around. You can actually get the car as well with a powered tailgate, so it'll open itself up, motorised, and I think obviously close itself back down as well. But I have seen in the past golf clubs put back here, so you can do it if this is the kind of car that you would actually use for going, oh, and it's got soft close as well, to go and play golf. I think to me, that's more a front-engine cruiser, and that's where, as I said, it's still a mid-engine supercar. It's not a relaxed, I mean, it is a more relaxed drive than a 600 LT or something, obviously, but it's not like, not a DBS, that wouldn't be fair, but like a DB11. It's not the same kind of car as that. Now, there are a few, obviously, design bits that are really distinctly McLaren, but it is its own car. It does look good, and it is a big thanks to Craig as well for taking me out for the ride there to experience a little bit more about what it's like. And he did also invite me to drive, but I figured I should drive it in somewhere with a little bit more open space to give more technical feedback. In any case, it's a nice spec. That car looks good. This place is fantastic. What an amazing venue. They've also got some offices as well, but to have these kind of chill out areas, glass walls, sitting down, being able to look through to all of the cars. I love that. Really, really nice clubhouse venue. Artworks around and the brightly coloured cars everywhere we look. What an amazing array. And of course, they're very MSO'd centre. So you've got multiple different colours. The Supernova silver around the outside, and then the dual tone blue shades that they have through the inside of it as well. Yeah, really nice. And like I said, I mean, good friends with Craig.
and Richard from Auto Vivendi for a long time, so good to be able to come by. I think probably the first time I've ever actually filmed here, despite having done some videos with some of their cars in the past, like some of the events they run, the 200 mile per hour challenge. First time in my life I ever drove 200 miles an hour was in one of their event doors at the event that they ran, I think probably back in 2012, 2013 with Best of the Best, BOTB now. That feels like a long, long time ago, but yeah. Awesome. Hope you've enjoyed a bit of an insight into the McLaren GT from my perspective, going out in the car for a little cruise around London. But for today, that is all. I'll pop the links down to Auto Vivendi down below if you're interested in finding out more. But thank you very much for watching as always, guys. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.